I want to take the next 5 minutes and discuss Islam in India, how Islam came to India, and we'll also examine the changes that it made. Islam comes to India in 3 ways: military conquest, Sufi missionaries, and finally through trade, which is the way it came into India. Let's look at each of these 3 factors. Islam comes into northern India and not into southern India. It was never able to unite India as a whole. These Muslims are Turks who come from Central Asia. They establish a capital in northern India and call it Delhi. They also sponsor a state religion, Islam. A sultanate, or a sultan, is the head of Islam in Delhi. It's an Arabic word which means victorious. Sufis are mystic missionaries. Missionaries are people in any religion who try to spread that religion to other people. Sufis believe they have a direct connection with God. Today, Sufis are great poets and writers. Also, in Turkey, Sufis are known as whirling dervishes. They are popular because they dispensed with the finer points of Islamic theology. Trade was the third way Islam comes into India, and it is through trade that Islam will make some of its biggest changes. We will see bigger ships and larger ships. These ships will allow merchants to move a greater volume of goods than they've ever been able to move before. Some figures say that over the centuries, that volume increased almost 400 times. These boats were both Arab and Chinese. The Arab dhow had some lantine or triangular sails, as you see in the picture here. These sails were used primarily to carry heavy items. Junks, or Chinese ships, were sturdy ships that traded long distances as early as the 2nd century CE. The increase in trade created the need for storage. That's when Emporium were developed. Emporium were warehouses that stored trade goods, and they were on the coast of India. This map shows Indian Ocean trade networks. You'll see what we call 3 networks of trade. The first involves India and Africa. The second involves India and East Asia. Then, if you can imagine this map as a large Venn diagram, in the center is India, which connects both East and West. Let's look at other impacts of Islam in India. Muslims did not get rid of the caste system. They accommodated and added to the caste system. They added new castes called Jati, J-A-T-I. They did not make changes in the way women were treated. They continued to be subjugated despite the equality of Islam. It is during this time period that Buddhism is eliminated as an Indian religion. Muslims attack Buddhist temples, and it is through that method that Buddhism is eliminated from India. It's ironic that Buddhism, a religion that grew up in India, is no longer an Indian religion. As in Africa, Muslims in India built mosques and schools, but they did separate living quarters for Hindus and Muslims. In addition, when 2 religions come together, as Hinduism and Islam did, a new movement is created. It is called the Bhakti movement, and Bhakti religion emphasizes values from Hinduism and from Islam, but it continues to retain some of the most important Hindu values. Finally, it is important to remember that Islam did not go into southern India. It did not, was not able to conquer that part of India. In that area, Hindu temples arose. These were essentially community centers, agricultural centers, schools. We also see the creation of devotional cults in southern India. Image worship is important in these devotional cultures. So the presence of Islam focused mostly on the coasts and merchant communities in India. Finally, let's review some of the important vocabulary. Some we've mentioned in this presentation and some we have not. It's important to remember that the money used along the Indian Ocean trade route were cowrie shells, a type of seashell. The astrolabe was an important instrument for Muslims and Indians for taking the altitude of the sun or the stars, and it would help them find their position at seas. We looked at dhows and junks, the two kinds of sailing vessels that helped increase the volume of goods traded during this time. We also saw the creation of Emporium, important centers of trade or warehouses. I cannot emphasize enough how important the Indian Ocean trade network was. No other trade network rivaled the Indian Ocean until the 1500s when the Americas were discovered. So this is the story of Islam in northern India.